Hey guys, Mad Theories here. Now, today we're gonna get into some JoJo's Bizarre. Now, this is gonna be the what if theory. Is the more like Dio. We're gonna really talk about Dio. Now, what would have happened if Dio would have beaten Jotaro? Now, I don't know if nobody like me like theories like this yet, but we gonna see. We gonna see. But what if he would have like beat Jotaro, right? Like at the last part of everything, like he would have won. What would have happened if he would have became Ascendant Dio, where he won everything? Like he finally defeated the Joestar family. He finally won after what 100 and something years. He finally beat them, and after for a while, he's like, well, I've done what I've needed to done. Now let me go conquer the world. So let's just say he would have like mastered his power over the years, like mastered the power of the world. Well, in this case, Zawaldo, he would have mastered that, and yeah, like I personally felt like he would have had everything. He would have had everything that he could have had, like a kingdom, probably like one world under him, some type thing. But I personally felt like after he would have won, maybe it would have probably like maybe like a few people who still would have tried to come after him because they had like stands and whatnot. And then actually no, I know one person that would probably try to come after him would be Josuke's friend. I forgot his name, but his friend would basically try to come after him because due to the fact that when his father had one of those little Dio bugs and it kind of like messed up his skin and made him like some sort of blob, like he basically would have came after him. I mean, it would have been quite interesting because since him and his brother, like his brother had like the whole little soldierman, and then he had like the whole cutting through space type thing, which was really sick. And I was like, well, it would have been interesting if they would have like fought, and Dio would have demolished them because he would have been like, Zawaldo like that, and then he would have stopped time like that, and then I mean, it would have been freaking sick. But again, they would have just died because he would have been toying with them, and then he'd be like, well, I could make y'all into my little soldiers, I could turn y'all both into vampires and whatnot. But it would have been pretty interesting to see. But another case, if he would have won, probably he would have noticed like Kira Yoshikage. Oh my god, Kira. Oh my god. He would have been a sick novel. But the only reason why his power was able to like transform and to manifest because he was scared and paranoid due to the fact that he was eventually gonna get busted, he was gonna get caught and whatnot. Then he had this ability where he's able to like time loop, like he was able to do something with the whole time type thing. And I was like, his thing was kind of sick because again he had like bombs, so if he would have blown up Dio's body or something, obviously Dio probably would have regenerated or something. But if he would have like time, I personally felt like maybe he could have defeated him. But then again, he was also kind of like keen on how Jotaro had the ability to also stop time, but he somehow figured his way into that loop due to the fact that his whole little bombs and how they can blow up. So I personally felt like he would have been the guy Dio would have had like some sort of trouble. Sure, he would have had the ability to stop time, but if this guy, like if they would have fought and he would have got scared and used the arrow on himself and gained like the other ability that allowed him to like do this whole like time infinite loop type thing, I personally felt that maybe he could have been the one to take out Dio. Probably would have been the one to take out Dio. Dio would have been like, I got this new adversaries. So it's like you have an ancient, I'm sorry, not ancient. You have like this immortal madman. An immortal madman versus a serial killer, because you gotta keep in mind Dio basically he murdered Jonathan's dog, he kissed his woman, and he just did all this type of crazy thing, and killed his father. So yeah, it would have been quite interesting to see if those two would have fought, and if Dio would have won, then it would have been truly over and whatnot. But it's like, I'm telling you, Dio is like, even though some people would say like his backstory kind of lack, like it is not really like a part to like some of like the greatest stories, like, you know, you got Madara, Aizen, excuse me, like, you know, the rest of everybody else who has like really good bad guy storylines. His was just like, oh, you know, just kind of like, you know, thrown into there. But even though his backstory may not be that great, but I still you gotta love and respect his character, because it's like, sure, he's going after the Joestar family for like, you know, years and years and years and whatnot. He somehow fails every single time. You know, it's still quite interesting to see. But it's like, if he would have won, he probably would have been Ascended Dio. And whatnot, and he would have been like, had everything that he possibly would have wanted. He would have had the world, everything, and nobody would have challenged him except Josuke's friends, and then eventually Yoshikage. He would have came after him. Probably like a few people probably would have came. Ooh, even forgot his name. Even one of Jotaro's companions, forgot his name. He would have tried, but then again, no, because he probably wouldn't even go near that circle. Oh, actually, no, I'll take that back. Dio would have found and killed him. I forgot. He would have found and killed him. He, like, anybody who was with Jotaro, anybody who was with Jonathan, you know, they gotta die. He would have obviously killed them after, when he would have attained like full dominancy over the world and whatnot, because it would have been nobody to stop him. Unless probably like a few people would have band together. But then how you gonna stop a guy who can stop time? Unless you shoot yourself with that special arrow over and over and over again to see if you get like a new ability or something. But again, only person that I personally felt that who probably could have fought in him would have been Kira. Kira probably would have been that type of dude to probably would have fight him, or he probably would have just been like, well, you know, I like killing. And I like having dead women's hands for some weird reason and just walking around with it. He probably was like, yeah, you know, you a sick bastard, but I got the world, so you can do whatever you want and whatnot. Because again, Dio never, like, he only cared for what he cared for, like his own little personal affections and whatnot. He didn't really care about anybody else but himself. So, you know, I personally felt like Ascended Dio probably would have been a thing. It probably would have been the thing, even though that's a Mugen character, Ascended Dio and whatnot. But you know, it still would have been sick. It still would have been sick to see, you know, having Ascended Dio. Homie got the ability to sit there and he's stopping time freely, and his minutes went up. It went up if he would have had everything that he would have wanted if he would have defeated Jotaro. And when I wouldn't have said like Jonathan, but Jotaro. Like if you would have defeated Jotaro and whatnot, and basically would have had the entire world in his disposal, whatnot. So you got to keep in mind that the homie Dio is the man. So if you like what you heard and you heard what you like, please subscribe, share, do all that wonderful stuff. I catch you later.